Hi, how are you today? It's Jay, and we are going through the alphabet of oils, talking about different oils from Young Living that you may not have heard of or are lesser known. I guess that kind of goes together, doesn't it? If you haven't heard of them, it's obviously lesser known. But these are ones that kind of fly under the radar. And tea is a prime example of that. Why? Because we are talking about a wonderful conifer oil called Tsuga. Tsuga. I'm not making that up. Tsuga. Tsuga. Try to do that tss kind of sound, like if you're calling the cat. Tss, you know. And mine actually showed up at the door when I did that. Tsuga is known as Tsuga canadensis. That is the botanical name for the tree that Young Living uses to get its Tsuga oil. It is a member of the pine family, and it is one of those conifers that just, it's a little different. It's not, when you open it up, it's not, pine, or fir, or spruce. Just got a lot of that wonderful conifer aroma just right up there, and it smells wonderful. It's also called Eastern hemlock. Now, before you go, hemlock, no, poison. It's not related to hemlock. The only reason it is called hemlock, it's a misnomer, because when Europeans first discovered Tsuga, that was used by Native Americans in some of their spiritual rites and daily living, it smelled to them a lot like hemlock. But it is not hemlock. It is a member of the pine family. Tsuga canadensis. A great little tree. Well, not little, because it actually grows to about, it can get up to like 300 feet tall. It's a big tree. It's tall. And it is a wonderful looking tree, too. Has a documented lifespan of hundreds of years. So if nothing happens to the tree, this thing can live a long, long time. And just the smell, I love it. It's refreshing, as most conifer oils are. I love the aroma because it is different than pine or spruce or fir. And it has a uniqueness that really sets it apart. And it is an undersung oil. It is one that not a lot of people have used. When you think of conifer oils, that's what most people think of is Northern Lights blue spruce, or Northern Lights black spruce, and Idaho blue spruce, and Idaho grand fir. Those are the ones that most people think of. Pine as well in there. Well, Tsuga is just as nice. The aroma is grounding, and it's very supportive of your immune system, as most conifers are. Skin cleansing properties, yeah, got that too. It's a very underutilized oil. It's steam distilled from the needles and twigs of the tree. That's where we get our Tsuga oil. And just imagine when you are felling a tree that is maybe 200, 300 foot tall, that's no small task. But it's worth it because the oil is fantastic. You can enjoy it aromatically to fill your space with a fine aroma. It is a fine aroma. I love it. It's woodsy, it's outdoorsy, yet still grounding. And, again, supportive of the immune system. It has, again, skin cleansing benefits, so you can add a little Tsuga to your facial cream or body butter if you want to do that. Again, I don't use that stuff because most of my skin is covered by a thick layer of fur, which has gone gray over the years. I'm sorry, not gray, silver. Yeah, silver. That just sounds better. Got my zing this morning. Need that. Great way to kick off the weekend. And also, Tsuga enhances yoga, meditation, prayer time with its very woodsy yet grounding aroma. It is a wonderful oil. I love it. I diffuse it. I apply it topically as well. I do enjoy it. It has some wonderful key constituents in there. Again, when we're talking about constituents, we are talking about chemical properties that are in the oil. Lab tests have been done on these chemical properties. So what I say about the constituents, you got to remember that has, authorized testing, government-funded testing, stuff like that. It's got all kinds of testing to it to say what these are capable of, what these can do. We're not allowed to say that the oil can do that. Since this is public, I have to make sure I state that. And I am not a doctor. I'm not a scientist in any sense of the word, except on my own time. So you have to understand that when I'm talking about the constituents that are in the oil and all these wonderful tests that have been done and studies and research and all this that say what these constituents can do, but then the constituents are in the oil, I'm going to go through it again. If A equals B, B equals C, then A equals C. It's like that. So, what does Tsuga have in store for you? It has alpha-pinene. That is what I call the super terpene. It is the do-it-all, anti-whatever you need anti for. Antifungal, antibacterial, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, anti-this, anti-that, anti-that. It is a wonderful constituent to have in your oils. Then there's camphene. We actually talked about camphene with a recent oil. Anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antibiotic, analgesic. Good stuff. And then there's also bornyl acetate. And that really helps enhance the aroma. And what an aroma. It's underused, underappreciated. It is the red-headed stepchild of conifer oils. Shouldn't put it that way, but too late, I already did. Tsuga, Tsuga, a member of the pine family, sometimes known as eastern hemlock. In fact, most commonly known as eastern hemlock or Canadian hemlock, but it is not a hemlock. It is not related to poison hemlock in any way. It is a pine tree. I don't know why I bother putting the lid back on, because I'm going to be sniffing this thing all morning. Why? Because that's within the diffuser, first off. Yep, I loaded up my diffuser with some Tsuga this morning, and I feel good. So that is it for the letter T, Tsuga, as we go through our alphabet of oils. Tomorrow's going to be a little different, because we are talking about the letter U, because U comes after T. Check it out. Look at it. Google it. That's what comes after T. So there is no oil in Young Living's catalog that starts with the letter U, or even has a word that starts with the letter U. So we're really going to kind of go with the flow here. And I'm going to do an oil that has two words, but both of those words contain the letter U. I know that's a stretch, but got to do it. If we're doing the alphabet, we're not going to skip any letters. So until tomorrow, and you'll find out what we're talking about tomorrow with the letter U. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day. Take care. God bless.